This Dark Artery story is getting crazier and crazier, and I think it's going to lead to one of these characters coming off the board. Let me know in the comments which one do you think it is. Like, it's leading towards one direction, but you know how comic book writers are. They like to lead you in one direction and then do a swerve right at the last minute. Just ask Al Ewing. Support the comic book industry by visiting your local comic book store. My name is Dorian. This is SEM Comics. We continue our coverage of Uncanny X-Men with number 15. Our story starts off outside New Orleans at a levee, where we have a Bloodhound that is laying on the ground and out of commission. And all of a sudden, it just reboots itself. And it's giving itself new mission parameters. Its target is acquired. It's going to Haven House in Haven, Louisiana. And then we got the outside of Haven House nearly 100 years ago, where we have the Grand Wizard, and he realizes he's made a grave mistake because Miss Henrietta has transformed and one of her rock monsters is about to drop a car on him. His own car, which is very fitting. So she's explaining how their people have been hunting them down ever since they can remember. They call themselves the Sentinels, but truth be told, they're just like the Ku Klux Klan for mutants, which I guess you could say that about a lot of different groups in Marvel when it comes to the mutants. Like, they're all just supremacists. And then this dude has a look of surprise and like shock and awe. He's like, no, you can't just murder us. This dude is soft as Strongman. Like, when you had the gauge pointed at them, this dude didn't hesitate to pull the trigger. Now that the tables are turned, he thought he was ride or die. Really, he was just ride. He didn't want nothing to do with the dying part. You see, this dude talks a good game. And there's a lot of people out there that talk a really good game. But when it all boils down to it, when it's the fan, he's like a Pop-Tart, soft in the middle. And these are also the same people that say, oh yeah, we down for the cause. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. And as soon as they get caught, the only thing they stand on is that confession to who the people are in their organization. So right before she's about to relieve this dude of his life, all of a sudden, 3 people show up who know who she is, and it's like, hold on, time out, stop what you're doing. So then we cut to Haven House in the present time, where Rogue finally got tripped out the ice, I guess by Wolverine. So she's like, I learned a lot of lessons in life, and right now, the most important one is don't mess with an ice dragon in the sky. So Wolverine's like, are you okay? And Rogue's like, I'm more embarrassed than actually injured. So the Gambit's like, Marcus, where the kids at? And he's like, sorry, Remy, but they're at the artery. And he's like, what are you talking about? They're there. And then Rogue's like, all right, I'm tired of everybody keeping their little secrets. We need to know what's going on, and we need to know what's going on right now. So we come back to the Dark Artery, where you have Man-Thing standing right behind Miss Henrietta. And she starts to explain what this place is, which is the penumbra. How a lady who is called the Voice of Darkness, she has a real name. I can't pronounce it. I'm not even going to try. She's the one who created this place. She is the warden, and she watches over of all the people that committed the same crime. But I guess before we get into that, I guess I need to explain what the Avery is. See, unfortunately, mutants, even back then, were always persecuted on. But back then, even when you died, they would dig you up and just desecrate your body. So, to try to avoid that, they created the Avery. Now, the Man-Thing is the one who guards the Avery. Miss Henrietta is the one who guards the penumbra. It's the portal to where all those bad people who committed the same crime get sent to. And that crime is being a snitch. Just flat out. These are people who told on their family members and their friends for being mutants because they was either jealous or scared or whatever. So like I've been saying since I started this channel, stick to the G code. You see, the Dark Voice is tired and she needs to find a replacement, and Death Dream seems to want to volunteer for the job, even though his friends are trying to tell him, look, that's probably not a great idea. But he's adamant that he wants to go and he wants to volunteer. Miss Henrietta says, you ain't said nothing but a word. And everybody else is like, if you're going, we're going too. So then she's like, all right, well, to go in there, you gotta have a new dress code. She snaps her fingers, and everybody is in black leather. So they go into the penumbra. God, I hope I'm saying that right. And then they see the dark voice, who looks crazy. Like, she looks like an alien. I'm sorry, that's an alien. Could be a mutant. She is a mutant. That's an alien. So Jitter, Ransom, and Calico's like, we shouldn't be here. We need to get the hell out of here. And Deathstream's like, you guys should. But me, I need to stay. So as scared as they are, and they are scared, if Deathstream is willing to proceed, then they're willing to proceed too. And as they're walking, Miss Henrietta explains a story about how the dark voice created this place. How she was a mutant, and she had a daughter that was a mutant. And her husband was a sucker type. Didn't like her being a mutant, but see, he was scared of her. But he knew he could mess with the daughter, to the point to where the daughter committed suicide. And this lady wasn't having none of it, and sentenced this dude to where they are right now. So we cut back to the house where Gambit is pretty much explaining to Rogue, Nightcrawler, and Jubilee what I just explained to you guys. And so now Rogue's like, all right, well, we need to go and get down there. So we need to put on our uniforms. And Gambit, Mr. Marquez, and his wife all say at the same time, it won't matter what you wear. So Wolverine in some really short shorts is like, well, then let's go then. So then we cut back to the Avery, and we have a city full of dead snitches. And they are pissed off about what happened to them. Not what they did, but what happened to them. And they're ready to take their anger out on whoever shows up, which happened to be our young heroes. So then we go back in the past again, where the three strangers walk up to Miss Henrietta, and they're like, let's see if we can save the young man's life. The old lady has a magical fire, or it's really not magical, she's a mutant, but she has a fire that actually heals a young man, and he's going to live. But then the old man's like, now we need to deal with the trespassers. Now, don't ask me how Dr. Watson is still alive, but somehow this dude is still alive. So then the old man holding the shotgun is like, all right, time to do our thing. And the old lady, I guess, not only has a healing fire, but she has a fire that will also take you out too. And the old man walks up to Miss Henrietta, is like, it's up to you, live or die. And she goes, I want them to live. And he goes, so be it, God help us. Now, if you're pissed off that she all of a sudden now doesn't want to kill these mutant KKK members, then why the hell would you stop her in the first place when she was about to drop the car on them? You know, just let her do her thing. Like, that made no sense to me. Just let her do it, because she was about to do it. Take this dude right out, and he needed to be taken out. But you stopped her, and now, because you gave her that little bit of time, she has to change her heart. Why? So Ransom goes to Deathstream and it's like, all right, Calico, I don't know if she can use her powers without her horse. And Jitter pretty much used her power before, so she can't use it for another hour, which I didn't know that was the case, which is pretty crazy. So he's like, we are the line of defense. And Deathstream's like, you ain't said nothing but a word. And he gets right to bringing all these dead souls out of nowhere. So Deathstream and Ransom are trying to do what they can, but there's too many of these people. And unfortunately, they can't protect the girls. Which Calico all of a sudden blurs out to Jitter that she loves her. And now Jitter's like, you love? And then she gets distracted. So then she gets jumped by these people. She's trying to fight them off. Calico gets snatched up. She's yelling Sophia. So then all of a sudden, Jitter looks calm. And she's like, you guys look like you got a lot of fear in you. Which is a bad thing when it comes to the man thing. And she grabs one of them and he starts roasting. But it's not just the man thing that showed up. The Uncanny X-Men are here too. They're in their new uniforms and they're here to wreck shop. Nightcrawler even bamps in. So now the penumbra smells like farts. But then we come back to the house where these cats know something is up. Because a Bloodhound shows up and he has two targets that he has acquired. And that's Mr. Marquez's wife and daughter. I'm not even gonna lie. I saved it to the end. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I actually miss the heifer.